Charlie sector has fallen to the enemy.
I need a plan here. Who has it?
Sector objective is under attack by friendly forces.
Your man's over here. Assault the objective.
The enemy is attacking an objective. Monitoring your progress, squad leader.
Enemy down.
They now have Delta.
Des mises unplayable en fait. Casse-moi sous la. Oh les gars, les gars, les gars.
Parachuter on the left. Easy kill.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh, that's 3 RPGs in front of us.
Yeah, we killed one.
Dude, I'm dusting so much.
To left, potato. Watch out. Is he dead? No, he's dead.
See, look at that. Nothing. One is gone.
Yeah, don't trigger the tank. You're gonna mine him.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I'm looking behind already.
Oh shit, he
He just drove
No.
one.
If you make him go back,
Should I shoot
kill
him?
the guy.
Oh yeah, gotta kill him.
Kill the other one. They have no idea.
Lol. My stuff?
Yeah, on the crane, I think.
On which
Like
one?
The rest of the crane.
You mean perfect game.
Oh yeah. Killing, I hit him once. Hit him twice, but I hit him 3 times. Dead.
Attack heli right in front of us.
He doesn't care.
Dead.
Even if he did, he had no time to turn around. Anyway.
I'm out of ammo.
Holy shit, this is actually the best vehicle in the game. Like, you're not kidding.
I mean, if you're playing it together, you know, like as a good pilot.
Oh, the spawns, holy shit!
Oh no, I'm out of ammo! Oh! Kill them! Kill them!
Yeah,
Kill them!
nobody, what?
I'm out of ammo! I can't kill them!
This.
Sweet guy's dead.
Look, these guys are farming, bro. Holy shit.
Down.
Down.
Lol.
Attack heli in front of us.
Was flying there.
Come here, you.
Go a little bit higher.
Okay, I see.
Hit him once. Down. Oh my god. This is so hard actually, but it's fun too. Because it's actually like challenging. Okay, let's try to get close from here. I hit him once. Oh, I got him!
Shit.
I killed the heli too. 5 kills. Got him.
How much damage did this?
I got him. Hit him. Down. There was one bailing earlier.
Oh,
Let's attack a little bit. Hit him. Down. Let's go.
We're back. We are live. Some impressive plays there. We just saw. We have Gabytron. We have Johannes, Vendcera, and then as chat so eloquently pointed out, Relaaa. He said I could call him Relay though. So joke's on you. He said I could call him whatever I want. And so, nonetheless, we have them here. We're about to pull them up and introduce them one by one, top to bottom, left to right. Gabby, I'm familiar with Gabby. Me and her met in Sweden, EA Play. She's been in the community for a very long time. How you doing? How the kids? Introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do. Make sure you follow these content creator guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I'm a content creator for Battlefield. They usually take a break during the summer. So for the summertime, people don't know who I am. And then I come back in the winter, like coming out of hibernation, except backwards. I'm a Battlefield partner, and I've just been playing Battlefield for a really long time. That's all it really is to me.
All right. And we lost Johannes there. Your camera went off, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Hold on.
Went
Let
through a
me
blank
just switch
screen.
on real quick.
So we'll go over to Relaaa. This is the first time I'm meeting you. I do appreciate you you coming in. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and where people can find you, and how long you've been in Battlefield, things like that.
Well, so I was a Battlefield 4 competitive player at the very start. I was uploading my gameplay on YouTube, and I think since not many people were doing the same, I got some attention because of that. Then after Battlefield 4 competitive scene died, so in 2016, I also stopped playing competitively on any game. I stayed a little bit active in the community, and I managed to stay relevant for a few years, but everything ends. And so now I'm basically I'm not active anymore on a Battlefield. I'm just a very, very casual person playing the game.
Okay, all right. Well, it looks like Johannes is having some technical issues, which is in turn bleeding over to our side. We've got Relaaa cut in half. You just lean over there. There you go. Lean to your left a little bit. We'll be just fine. We'll be just fine. So we saw some impressive clips from each one of you there. Again, Gabby, being a long-time veteran in Battlefield, we're going to start this kind of similar to the way we started the last one. What are you loving or liking about the new Battlefield, and what do you think needs work? I know that one of those lists is probably longer than the other, but nonetheless, yeah. What are you thinking so far? Just come out, a lot of people, a lot of opinions. There we go. Hold on, we got Johannes back. There he is.
Yep.
Welcome back.
So I don't know what happened here. And now like somehow I'm yellow. Okay, not gonna change anything. Perfect timing.
That's all right. You look good. You look good on our end. Look very tan. You've been out in the sun. So Johannes, I'm very familiar with Johannes. For those of you that don't know, Johannes has been very heavily involved in the competitive community for a very long time. Me and him have had lots of discussions back when I ran the Hardcore League. How you doing, Johannes? Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let people know where they can find you, what you've been up to, and who you are.
Thanks, first of all. Yeah, hi everyone, and thanks for the invite. I'm Johannes, better known basically under that name than Vendcera. I've been a competitive Battlefield player and been competing for 6 years by now, pretty much. And since 2 years ago, basically, I joined EA, and I'm part of the community team over here. So yeah, that's basically
Excellent.
it.
So you're part of the community team officially there for EA. What is just an employee of the community team? What's your title there?
The official title is German Community Coordinator. So it's basically a role for EA, like for all EA games, not specifically like for Battlefield or something, and not directly like for DICE, for example. That's a completely different team. You could say like I'm basically like a step below like the real like community managers.
And how you liking that? How's it been so far?
Great, yeah. I really enjoy it. I mean, people might complain and like talk whatever they want about like EA from like a public perspective, but as an employer, they've been absolutely great, and I really like it.
So just so you know, chat, there will be some things I'm sure that Johannes here can't speak to, or probably isn't in his department, so we can't be like, Johannes fix a hit reg. We know that he's messing it up. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind as chat's throwing up some questions. I will do the same. And if there's anything that you can't answer, don't, feel free to not answer that. But we're just going to treat you like any other guest. You may have a little more insight on some of it. And if you do, feel free to drop it in. Again, this is an open discussion. I'm going to ask each one of you questions, and sometimes I'll leave it open-ended for anybody to answer, but feel free to chime in at any time. You do not need to raise your hand, so on and so forth. So we'll circle back over here to Gabby. Same question. What are you liking? What are you not liking? And as a veteran Battlefield player, Gabby's been in the community for a very long time. She has seen a lot of Battlefield across the years. So what are you thinking? How are you feeling about it? Liking it, loving it, liking some parts of it, not liking some so much. What do you think?
Yeah. So I came into this like knowing just as much as anyone into the about the game. People think that because we're the game changers or we're in the EA Creator Network, we got like the game months and months in advance and got to play so much of it. And the reality is like, no, we got into the alpha or the technical test and we got into the beta test just like everyone else. And for a lot of us, that was our first time seeing it. So like people are getting upset that we're finally like, making our final decisions on the game a week after it's been out. And it's like, well, yeah, we needed time to play with it and get used to it. Like we didn't have as much behind the scenes access as last times for any of the games, I feel like. So I gave myself the entire week to just play All Out Warfare, and then I went into Portal. And all the clips that I submitted were from Portal, from one Portal match, because I had so much fun on that one Portal match, as opposed to like the core 2042 All Out War gameplay experience. I'm liking Portal a lot more, and I don't want to talk so much about all the stuff that I don't like in the 2042 experience, because I'm sure we're going to hear it through every single group of people that's going to be talking here today. But I'm glad that Ripple Effect made a solid piece of the new game that really works, because I was here for the Battlefield 5 launch, and I was asked to be part of the group, and I was so happy. And then the game came out, and I'm like, oh, it's World War II. And then I played it, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. So it's like I've been here for 2 launches for the game so far, part of the group of people that are helping launch the game, and then it's been like 2 slaps to the face so far. The second one didn't hurt as much because I was preparing for it when I'm talking about 2042, but it's like I keeping my hopes up and hoping for a really good game, and then we start seeing the realities of what it is, and it's like, well, this is in line with what I expected. As unhappy as I am to say that, but like I said, there is one part of the new game that I like, and it's Portal, the Battlefield 3, and the Battlefield Bad Company 2 part of it. Those are the ones that I've enjoyed so far. I jumped into the 1942 Portal experience, but I'm not a fan of World War II flat, like open field shooters with trees and trenches. I didn't like Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 too much because of that. So 1942 part of it is not my jam. So anything that's like modern warfare and works in this game is what I like.
So would you say, and again, I was there for the launch of both as well. Would you say that Battlefield 2042 has a better foundation to build on than Battlefield 5 did?
Yes, because I feel like, so they gave themselves 3 different options for the game to have 3 different communities to grow. I feel like, you've got Portal, you've got Hazard Zone, and you've got the main one. So I think they kind of covered their bases in the fact that it's like, well, if people don't like, the all-out warfare, we can just tell them to go to Portal and they can enjoy Portal. Like they tried really hard to kind of maybe cover their bases on everything. So I think they've got a good starting foundation, but I see Portal maybe being the shining like gem in all this, having the most ability to grow and get new content to really get like that sense of community back, to get people to come back to the same games. Whereas, 2042, the All Out Warfare is gonna need a lot of work for that community. I just want to be able to join my friends off of Origin like friend list. Like if I see that they're in a server, I just want to click on their name and join in, even if I'm not in the same squad. As long as I know that I'm on the same team and I can play with them, like that's baseline what I want, and I can't do that in this game. So maybe if 2042 can get that, then it can start growing up, getting better. But
with 128 players, you definitely want to be able to hang out with your friends in a lobby that big. I agree. I'm going to speak on Portal here in a minute because I have some opinions on that. But before I do, we're going to jump over to Relaaa. Again, same question. What you say you're more of a casual Battlefield player. Let me ask you this first, kind of segue into it. When did you get into Battlefield? What title did you start playing Battlefield?
Battlefield 3. I arrived on a game very, very late. It was offered to me as a gift in 2011, I think. Worst gift that could be given to me, because I ended up playing every day for 8 hours. But yeah,
just a gift that kept on giving, huh? So what are your opinions? What do you so you've been through now, have you played each title, Battlefield 3, 4, 1, and 5?
Yeah, so once I started playing Battlefield, I played them all. So I played Battlefield 3. I started being a competitive player in Battlefield 3. The game was so good that even though we had no cash prize or nothing actually to really earn except respect, we managed to form a good competitive community on Battlefield 3. Then Battlefield 4 arrived. There was money, so people were interested for different reasons into being a competitive player. And then I played Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. Battlefield 1 because I wanted to be hired by DICE, and Battlefield 5 because I thought I would be hired by DICE after my internship at DICE, which happened not to be the case. But then after Battlefield 5, sadly I had to find a job because my Swedish hopes were let down, and I stopped really being very active on the game. I came back from time to time on Battlefield 4 because new players were on Battlefield 4, so I could feel like I was still better at the game than some people. But then basically I stopped performing at any level.
All right. And so what are you finding? What are you liking about Battlefield 2042? What are you disliking? What are your thoughts on it coming out the gate here?
So with my, I think 10 hours of gameplay. So my main issue is the map design, or basically the flow of the game. If you don't speak about Portal, about the game mechanics, but we speak about the actual Battlefield game that was done by the DICE designers in terms of map design, in terms of flow. I don't. It's like someone tweeted. I think someone called Chicken AU tweeted something, which is when the game works, it's really enjoyable. But the issue is the game doesn't work so often. Like you don't have many situations in which you can feel like you are exploiting the potential of the mechanics. Most of the time you're like, okay, I can't really get myself into a gameplay situation that's enjoyable. But when I do, like the few times when it happens, you feel all the potential of the movements, the shooting, which is not insane, but it's just okay. But the map design and the constraints they set on themselves with the 128 players is really making it difficult to find yourself in a enjoyable gameplay situation. I feel like when I'm playing the game, I'm hunting for these situations, and they really take time to appear compared to Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. So that's my main issue. But otherwise, I think there is potential, especially with portals. Everything has been said about portals, and I think that the game's gonna take like a few months before really evolving in the right way, sadly.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You were speaking about having difficult time finding yourself, in enjoyable situations or anything. Have you tried Portal yet? Have you tried jumping into any of the servers? you know, 1,000 ticket team deathmatch on, you know, Erica Harbor or anything like that?
Yeah, I did. So the issue is when I do that, I instantly happen to play the Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 maps, especially Battlefield 3. Like Canals is a great map, and you have
Canals, yeah.
These canals, this freeway design where you can go in the middle of the map or on the side, and the flow of infantry is obviously much easier to design for map designers because it's a very small map and it's designed for deathmatch. When you're playing Battlefield 2042, they had to create maps that were good for this huge number of players. And I suspect they were maybe going at the start for something like a battle royale or something, and then maybe they changed their mind, or I don't know, because the map design really, I don't find maps like Bazaar, Lockers obviously, but that's something else. Like, you know, maps which were very, very not only infantry based, it's not my issue. Maps which had a very, very clear freeway design, you know, with like infantry oasis, like parts of the map where you can be only infantry and parts of the map where it's more mixed. And I don't really think they managed to do it, because obviously they try to do it. I'm sure they are doing their job properly, but the constraints they had, so these 128 players and these vehicles, these utilities, I think were too much to really be able to focus the action in specific places where you will have these enjoyable gameplay situations.
Yeah, and a prime example of that was Bazaar. You know, Bazaar, it was very clear where vehicles would go, where infantry would go, you know, and so you were able to decide, you know, how you wanted to play that map and which direction you'd be taking, and you had options doing that. All right, well, I appreciate it, Relaaa. And we're going to jump over to Johannes again. Johannes, he is part of the German community team. Guys, he's not a developer. He doesn't punch in code. He doesn't decide things like that. So anything like that, I'm sure he cannot speak to. But nonetheless, I've known Johannes for quite some time. He plays the game. He loves the game. He enjoys the game. He was playing it well before he started working for DICE. So what do you think about it from a gamer standpoint? You know, from playing the game as you've played all the other titles. What do you like about it, and what don't you like about it? What do you hope to see them change? What do you think needs work?
Well, that's quite a loaded question, I guess. But yeah, like from a fan perspective, and of course, like I'm only like speaking about it like as a fan perspective, and like from my personal opinion, I gotta say I'm a little bit disappointed that this game doesn't quite live up to its potential, or like what I would have guessed the expectations would have been. Of course, like you have the foundation there, and especially with Portal, there will be like so many more options to build something basically for everyone. And everyone can find their like previous Battlefield experience, their nostalgia. So that's like definitely like one of the biggest plus points about this game, to have not only like Battlefield 2042, but the past Battlefields at the same time. This is like insane. And I feel like building on Portal will be like the biggest strengths this game can have. And with Ripple Effect, adding even like more maps, more gadgets, more features across these old school games, basically, it will introduce like so many new players to these old games, and they will fall in love in them. And other than that, for like the main game, Battlefield 2042, it didn't have like the greatest start. I suppose that's fair to say. There are like some issues to figure out, but at the same time, the core of the game can be fun. And I think when DICE builds more on that, it can definitely attract like some more players. And there's going to be something for everyone.
I agree. I agree with that as well, especially with the Portal 7. Again, I'm going to speak on that here in a minute, because I think it's important. It's a big deal. We did have a question in chat here, and I believe it was directed toward Relaaa when he was talking. And the sporadic, encounters and things like that, finding a hard time finding action. The question in chat from the Fugal streamer, which if you guys don't follow him, especially if you're a streamer. He's throwing out videos all the time. Nice to see you, buddy. He asked, do you think that will change once people once people learn the maps more, and I know Johannes can speak to this as a competitive player, and I can speak to it as well. Map knowledge is half of the battle. I mean, knowing the map is 100% half of the battle of being solid and being good at the game. Do you think that those encounters will increase as more players learn the maps and learn the lanes and the routes and things like that?
It's true that, as you say, map knowledge is very important. Like the progression curve you have on maps is pretty quick. Usually when you start a game, at the very beginning, you don't know the angles, so you can't really judge what work has been done on the angles by the designers. And after a few weeks or months, you understand what the designers wanted you to do on the map. But I think that if you take a map, like we were speaking about the map on Peak, I think like a map like the map on Peak, for example, was as good to play in 12 versus 12. So with only 24 players on the server versus 64 players, like you had 32 versus 32, because they managed to create a map that had like such a good ability to focus the flow of players that you could play it with the same exact map area. We're not forced to like restrict the area to a specific part and have fun. And I don't think that the maps have that in Battlefield currently, and will ever have that, because they are so huge and they are not going for this kind of tunnel map design. I think learning the maps will have a small impact. Clearly, people will go in the good infantry areas, for example, when they want to play infantry, because they know they are here. But I don't think it can solve the whole issue.
Bigger doesn't mean better. That's true.
So as far as Portal goes, I think Portal is amazing. One of the hardest things through Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 was the lack of rent servers, like we saw back in Battlefield 4, which kept Battlefield 4 going for years and years. People putting servers together, communities, events, esports, things like that. So I was really happy to see that just right out the gate that was an option. Now I haven't messed with Portal very much. I haven't created a server or anything like that. But one thing that I do know is, and this won't be a question I want you to answer, Johannes, as far as this is coming, this isn't coming, or anything. I want to know your thoughts on it. With Portal, there is no spectator mode. Which makes it difficult to run esports. What do you think about that? How do you feel about that? Are you hoping to see that come in soon? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, of course, especially like for the competitive scene, spectator mode will be essential, not only for this scene, but also like for photographers, for people that just like want to provide content for the game, like even like YouTubers, streamers. There are so many options and things that you can do with a spectator mode, and especially in the current age, I feel like the age of content creation, it will be like a huge benefit to the game, having more options to like showcase everything of it, even like some epic moments in Battlefield. So I think it's very important, of course, but if it's going to come, if it's not going to come, I can't comment on that, obviously. As a player myself, of course, I know it's important and I wish for it myself.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's another one, content creators, coming in, creating those screenshots and those dude, I've always loved the Battlefield machinimas, and things like that.
Yeah,
there's been some amazing ones out there with the previously with some of the previous spectator modes and things like that, which has gone through various iterations over the years. But nonetheless, it is, I love seeing the content that players kick out. So a question that I asked everybody from the last group, and I'm gonna send it over here again. We're gonna start with you, Gabby. What are your thoughts on the newest additions to Battlefield? Because one of the things that's really neat and I like about this Battlefield is the fact that they've gone back. There's some nostalgia. You can play the old maps. You've got a lot of the things from the previous Battlefields, but now we have a couple of new things. Mainly the removal of classes and having operators. Robot dog, tornado, wingsuit, some things like that. What are your thoughts on those? Like them, hate them, like them, but I hope they change. What do you think about some of the newest additions to Battlefield 2042?
Yeah, I was lurking while the other people were talking, and I was in the stream when they were talking about this question, and I feel like it's all the same, like what Lady Kerberos was talking about, how people seem to go for just Sundance or Angel. And I've been playing Angel mostly just so that I can have my med kit on the side, and then I've got the armor and the ammo, and then I've got the call-in. So I'm like an all-around medic, for which I think it's cool. I'm having fun playing that mode, but then I died, and here comes Angel running in to save me with another Angel running right behind me. And oh, Angel came in, last to the party. So I'm starting to see it's, yeah, we are starting to pick like a meta of certain specialists that we think work better. And it's funny how it's either like really team focused players or people that just want to get their sniper box, their ammo box, and stand on top of a tower. So you got like that really big divide, and I don't feel like there's a middle ground for people. I don't know. Like, yeah, you're either like messing around by yourself off in the middle of the map, or you're working really hard to help people. And it's just so weird that there's not like a good in between of that. So as far as specialists, like I kind of like the hero shooter vibe. I like the personality, but I'm thinking of it more from like a content creator for like Neebs Gaming kind of stuff. Like they're going to make a cartoon Battlefield Friends out of these specialists, so that like kind of personality I feel is going to help them specifically. But that's just like such a small niche thing that those specialists are good for. I think like everybody else is just like, it takes away from the gameplay and all that. And at first I wanted to like, I wanted to see for myself how people were going to play it out. But as you know, everyone seems to always find the worst, most cheesiest way to play things. So thanks for ruining the XP farms for us guys. Completely unrelated, but yeah. So specifically the robot dog, I like the stupid robot dog. He's a good spotter. That's pretty much all he does, is he can spot people from miles away. But if they're standing right next to you, he's going to be like, hi friend. And then he's going to watch them shoot you, and then he's going to shoot them. But
so like a real dog kind of.
Yeah. So I watched that dog jump fences like 3 or 4 times. I was messing with him. I was running around like the fence, and I was just watching it like jump over the fence trying to get to me. And that's so stupid. I liked it. I thought it was funny.
Where was that clip? We needed that clip in the highlights.
That was from the beta. Yeah, that was from one of the streams. I couldn't find it. I had to go dig through the streams to find that. But yeah. I got the tornado exactly once, and it was the first game that I jumped into, and me and my squad mates were like, let's go jump in it. And then we just ran and jumped in it and died. But then after that, it's either not been in my games or just an inconvenience where we had to just kind of wait for the sandstorm to pass or wait for the tornado to pass. Like the only thing that it did for us was it made the attackers waste time and tickets trying to get to us because they were all dying in the storm. Like it was kind of helping us when we were playing Breakthrough. Like it was kind of holding the attackers back a little bit, but it didn't really do anything. Yeah, I made a joke on stream once a while back that my relationship with Battlefield feels like it's like I'm trying to break up with Battlefield, and Battlefield's like, no, babe, I swear, babe, please, babe, please. Like I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna get in shape, babe, please, I swear. And it's like, all right, dude, one more chance. And then he comes back and he's like, look, I did this brand new thing that you didn't ask me for and nobody asked for, but I did it, babe. Do you love me? And it's like,
That's a very solid analogy. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah.
So.
All right, Relaaa, what about you? How do you feel about the new additions to Battlefield? The classes, the robot dogs, the tornado.
I'm sorry, you were speaking to me? I heard the Vendcera. Were you speaking to Relaaa?
No, I was talking to you, Relaaa.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Well, I didn't have this speech about my ex trying to get me back or something like that, which was great, honestly. Maybe one of the best analysis I've heard.
Yeah, no, it's a really good analogy. It is. It 100% is. Yeah, as a veteran Battlefield player, at the beginning it was great, and then it's like, what are you doing? This is not who I got with.
So yeah, that's true. We have changed. So I have a perspective that's pretty unusual because I am you could say a minimalistic player or a monomaniac maybe. That is, I usually don't try to use the gadgets. I try to focus on the infantry gameplay, and I try to focus on only the shooting part of the infantry gameplay. So I'm not, for example, I've not even used the robot dog. I've died thousands of times because of the robot dog, but I have never actually chosen it. So I can't really have an opinion on that, but I can tell you that the game is playable without all these gadgets, which is always very important to me. Like to be able to cater to this kind of monomaniac players like me who really care only about the shooting experience, basically, or the moving and shooting experience, you could say, is essential. So all I can tell you is that, yeah, you can play the game, that way. So that's a good point.
All right. Johannes, what do you think? What do you think about the new additions? Again, you've been in Battlefield for a long time. We've been, we've been through various different things. Battlefield Bad Company 2, C4 on UAVs, to buildings falling in Battlefield 3. Yeah. So what do you think about these the new additions to Battlefield 24? The things we haven't seen before.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be like something new in the way it's innovation. Like DICE stands for innovation after all, and I think they're like definitely like some cool stuff that you can like play around with, and like even like the weather effects, for example, they look absolutely amazing, stunning, like the tornado. But what I do wonder about is if it's actually adding to the gameplay and making it better in a way. And I kinda disagree in that sense. This is fun basically to see, but is it still gonna be fun like after 100 times playing and getting annoyed by stuff that you can't really control? I feel like that is the biggest issue if the gameplay mechanics are not like really like in the foreground. But at the same time, like Vela, like for example, also said, I mean, how can I explain this necessarily? Heroes, basically a specialist system, is something new, but at the same time, it gives players the freedom to do what they want. You can play in in an egoistical kind of way that you play by yourself. You can play without gadgets if you want. You can be like fully focused on playing with your squad and only like trying to provide them with like armor, of course, with like HP. You can just like sit behind someone with a stim pistol and keep healing them while they peak. There are different ways of playing, and I feel like that adds a lot to the gameplay. And even though there will definitely be like a meta established, what specialists will be the best, there's still like the freedom to choose. And I wouldn't necessarily agree that there's always going to be like one best choice. Of course, like someone like Angel, for example, is always pretty much good just because of like the armor alone. But depending on what kind of maps you play, like Manifest, for example, as a containers, you can use Mackay really well to get on top of any kind of objects with a grapple hook. So there are definitely like some differences, and I feel like specialists for everyone.
So I agree and disagree with some of that. The tornado, oddly enough, I have used that thing several times. I mean, if you put your parachute and kind of drift in and out of it properly, you can shoot yourself across a map with that thing, if done right. Now, I haven't used the wingsuit at all, and I don't know how that's affected by a tornado, but just the parachute itself, if you ride that outside and don't get sucked up in the middle of it, you can use it to your advantage. Now, again, going back to what you said, after 100 times, how am I going to feel about it? I don't know, but I've found it not too distracting or destructive.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah.
Each time, I've used it every time I found myself close to the tornado. I've used it in one way or another to get somewhere else, as opposed to letting it hinder me. As far as the classes go, I'm still a little torn on it. Being an old school Battlefield player, it's like one of those things where well, kind of like the Battlefield friends, they ruined the Battlefield. I had some stronger opinions coming in today, or some stronger thoughts, I guess. But like hearing Relaaa talk about how he doesn't even use gadgets, he's not worried about it. And some of the things that you say, that if somebody's playing solo, they can kind of do their own thing. I've always been a fan of the rock, paper, scissors, the teamwork, and things like that. And excuse me. Oh, I had something in my throat. I could see, like you were saying there, if somebody wants to support their squad and things like that, they most certainly can, and it lends itself to that. So we'll just kind of have to see how that goes as it goes on. What I worry about, like you said, there's always a meta. There's always a character that people are going to use more than not.
Yeah.
But hold on, dang, I got a drink.
I can just like add on one thing maybe real quick. the balance will probably be like the major thing that is deciding like the special system, like basically like a make or break point, because the way like classes were designed were like heavily focused on providing certain gadgets to certain classes and balancing them that way that not everyone can do the same. Now everyone can do the same as a specialist. You can choose to play a sniper with a medic crate, or like you can choose a sniper with medic and you can even get ammo at the same time, or like a rocket launcher. You can have like so many combinations that can break the game in a sense that it can be too overpowered, that one soldier has like all gadgets at the same time and you don't have to choose. You can play everything at the same time. That is like one of the biggest difficulties I see, and I'm going to be curious to see how it's going to evolve and the meta.
Yeah, I'm curious, which, I've kind of stepped back from the competitive scene. But
yeah,
I'm
like even in
curious to
public
see-
alone, like, are we gonna see like 5 specialists running around in all maps basically, always like with the same loadout? Are we gonna see like some completely like broken stuff, like some gadget
Yeah.
combinations that are gonna be like simply overpowered? I'm afraid so.
Well, and that's one thing, that happens across a lot of games is the devs rarely can foresee what the players are going to end up doing. The creativity of players and stuff, and the way they'll come out and just do things that you would never imagine. It's like you wonder if that hovercraft driving up the side of the building was even thought about, beforehand, which it very well may have been, but it's like, well, that's something there. But yeah, I'm curious to see, as the game comes out, especially with the portal being out right out of the gate, there's going to be communities running competitive stuff, with or without spectator mode. They're going to be running. I'm real curious to see how these variations and the ability to have these classes like this will play into that. Like you said, are we going to see, all one class? Are we going to see, them really getting diverse and really almost like going in and tuning a race car or something? They're going to have, you're going to have exactly this and exactly that, and it's going to complement this or it's going to complement that. You're going to do it. I'm curious to see how they go about doing that. Moving on again, before we get too far into this and before we get ready to close this down, because it looks like we've got about 15 minutes left on this one right here. Make sure you enter into the giveaway, !Battlefield or !Enter. We will be doing the giveaway when this segment wraps up here. The next question, and that giveaway is for an ultimate edition of Battlefield. Doesn't matter what platform or where you're at. And I saw some people in here asking Johannes about codes. He said he can give a code away. He's just going to need your social security number, a drop of blood, and your firstborn. So you shoot that over to him, and he will he'll send you a couple of those. But don't nobody send your social security number over there. That's not smart. The next question I have is if you could wave a magic wand and fix one thing right now, what will it be? And we'll start with you, Relaaa. If you could wave a wand and something was fixed in the game the way it currently is, what would it be?
If I could fix one thing in the game, say, well, you can't fix map design. It's just not one thing you can easily fix, not like one parameter. So if I could fix one thing, well, honestly, it would not be a fix. I would just bring back some of the movement abuses that I saw during the beta. Like you spoke about the things that players can do with a game and that the developers had not foreseen. Well, from my point of view, I'm speaking about from a purely egoistic stance. I would actually try to bring back these, you had some videos of some guys who were almost flying like Spider-Man across the map. Then they were sliding. From my point of view, that's extremely enjoyable. That's the way I would try to play the game. So I'm not saying that everybody will enjoy that, and there are definitely different categories of players to cater to. But yeah, I would bring back some of the, let's say, some of the first things that the players brought to the game during the beta, which were not only in terms of meta, but in terms of movements. So that's what I would fix. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Gabby? If you could wave one to fix one thing, what would it be?
I would like the ability to click on my friends list in Origin and join their server. And whether it puts me on the same squad, the same team, or the enemy team, I'd like to just be able to click and join my friends so that even if I'm on the enemy team, I can hunt them down and still play with them, still mess with them. The other thing is I would like to be able to switch squads. If my squad is being useless, the way that I fix that is I just click in and I get out of there, go see who's got the most points, go see who's doing work, and I just join that squad, and then the game gets instantly better.
I mean, you can switch squads, but it's gonna be random. You're just gonna get like another like random squad.
Yeah, no. I want to pick. I do homework. I look at the scoreboard. I see who's in the top like 10 at least, and then I go through the squads, and I'm like, all right, they've got an open slot. I'm gonna join those guys.
Yeah, that is which, and it's not just EA Dice or Battlefield. You know, you see things like this in a lot of games where they have something that, you know, across the board, everybody's like, oh yeah, that's good, we like that works, that's good, and then for one reason or another it's gone, you know. And sometimes it could just be oversight, like, oh, we didn't realize that was, you know, that was as popular as it was because we never noticed it because everybody liked it and it was never complained about, you know. And I think switching squads and the scoreboard, you know, is again has always been in there, and for the most part, I think, what was it, Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 5? One of them, there was, in the beginning, there was some difficulty with it. But I would say, yeah, I agree with that as well. We hear that a lot. Another question for you, or the same question, Johannes, if you could fix one thing, just boom, you say it and it's done, what would it be?
I mean, that's also difficult, and I agree with like Reda and Gabby said, because even like some like map design, I feel like it's definitely like something that could be improved and would drastically like improve the gameplay experience for everyone. But that is like not something that can be like simply fixed and changed like that. So what I will pick is, in a similar sense, customization. I would definitely want to pick customizations and basic quality of life changes from previous Battlefields that we had. Even like some like squad switching, for example, but so much that we had in previous Battlefields and that really improved those games. Like Battlefield 4, for example, included like so many changes, like really like customization, just alone from increasing the minimap size to like changing the colors, for example, so much stuff. And I feel like that will really help, help the game improve. And there might be a good chance that more stuff is coming in.
Excellent, little hint there. Now I'm curious, being a competitive player, and we've heard a lot of people talk about this, the movement in beta compared to now. Which one did you like better, the movement in beta or the movement that is in the current game?
I'm beta, of course, too. Just like a little bit more freedom. There will always be like certain things that you can abuse basically and exploit. Of course, that should be limited in a certain way that you can't like fly or like bunny hop around like endlessly. That would be pretty silly. But at the same time, give players, and especially like good players, a certain like skill seeing and opportunities to improve their movement and therefore be better at the game. Don't limit everything. Don't make it too casual basically. There's like a way of giving everyone a certain easy way into the game, like a pretty easy like skill floor, you could say, but still with opportunities to learn and improve like certain mechanics, certain things that you can do to differentiate yourself from better players.
Yep, I agree as well. So we're coming close to the end of this segment. We will be doing that giveaway pretty soon. So again, you know, guys, if you haven't already, jump in, enter into that giveaway, ! Battlefield or ! Enter in chat, and that's for a copy of the Ultimate Edition of Battlefield 2042. Before we go, again, you know, everybody's been in the Battlefield community for a little while. A new player's coming into Battlefield. What piece of advice would you give them to allocate them or introduce them into Battlefield 2042? And we'll start with you, Gabby.
I would say, I would tell people that if something feels off in the game, could be that the game is being weird, but check your settings. I had to check so many settings and move so many things around for the game to feel like the Battlefield that I like to play. So if you feel like maybe your aiming's off or your sensitivity's off, just go check your settings. There's so many freaking settings to go through. And even if you've been playing for a long time, you're still going to need some time to dial those settings in. So yeah, I don't know why this game feels like it takes so much work just to get it, just to get the settings to somewhere where I like it. But That's the one thing I would say is go check your settings first. And then if you check them all and the game's still crap, it's
All right, Relaaa, what piece of advice would you give somebody new?
I'm sorry, I have this. I would say refund. No, I'm kidding. I had this joke that I keep seeing on Twitter. No, I would not say refund. I would say enjoy, because if you start playing the game for the first time, you most likely have the best experience you can have on a video game, which is that on a Battlefield at least. Like, you will never be that candid. You will never be that naive anymore about the game. And if I could go back personally to my first days on Battlefield, where the games looked so huge and mysterious, I will do it, because I actually enjoyed everything I was doing. A small detail like a rock or someone going in a given direction and being able to track that guy and kill him. Everything felt incredible, like discovering the life again. And no, it's not the case anymore. Like, after a month or even years on the game, you enjoy the things differently. You're a bit more bitter about stuff also. Like Gabby was saying, we have many scars with different launches that weren't as good as we hoped. So yeah, I would definitely say enjoy, because you're never gonna be young again in video games.
Right. Okay. All right. And Johannes, what piece of advice would you give somebody coming into Battlefield 2042?
I would actually add on to that. I think, like, when you first get into the Battlefield and into the game, it's about like enjoying it. First of all, it's about like discovering the game itself. And I think, like, one advice that I would give everyone is, like, find a group of friends, or just like even like one friend that you can play with and experience it all together. Because then you can learn together, you can have more fun together, and you can actually like properly experience Battlefield in the way that it's meant to be when you play together and help each other out, basically, combine like certain like abilities, gadgets, and yeah, just enjoy. First of all, that's the most important.
All right, I've got a special question for Gabby, because you set yourself up for this one. All right, this is your fault. Before I ask this question, this is your fault with your analogy. Okay.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Okay.
Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and Battlefield 2042. You got to marry one, hook up with one, and kill one. Go.
Kill 20. No, just kidding. I would kill 5. 5's my least favorite so far. I'm having fun with 2042, so I'd say hook up 2042, and I'd probably marry Battlefield 1 just because they're solid and dependable.
All right. Well, again, guys, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a blast. It's always good to hear from the people in community. And Gabby, I haven't spoke to you in quite some time, and Johannes as well. Relaaa, it was very nice meeting you. I appreciate you guys coming in here. Everybody in chat, make sure to give them a follow. They're going to throw up their links right here. Give them a follow. Go check them out. Go hang out with them while they're streaming and things like that. And we will be doing that giveaway very soon. I'm going to keep my eye on that. Again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm sure you guys got things to do, or hang out in the stream and chat and see what the other guests have to say. Our next set of guests coming up is going to be Chicken AU, Silk, and SMK Gaming. And so we're going to have them on here shortly. Again, we're going to, we have a nice community highlight reel. Fluffy Mix just won the giveaway. Congratulations, Fluffy. There you go. Ultimate Edition version of Battlefield. So congratulations on that. And again, guys, thank you very much for coming. We're going to let you go, and we're going to get ready for the next set of guests, and we do appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Goodbye.